Each time I hear the statement, my heart goes very, very soft. And then even my voice will always change. How much fairness did Akufo-Addo offer to his predecessors? Did he ever express any modicum of support for his predecessors? Did he ever say that difficult as the education terrain is, please join me, let's decide whether or not we should do this way or go about it that way? You heard many people speak to the fact that there was a certain silence, that even Charles could not speak out, that old school associations dared not criticize, that headmasters and headmistress wouldn't dare, because as soon as you do, you'll be suspended, sacked, or completely rusticated. This is what we have to deal with. Secondly, fairness will also demand that if the economy is in shambles, that in all fairness, you acknowledge that you have literally mismanaged the economy for keeping your cousin as finance minister way beyond his welcome. And indeed, all the transactions that took place, who were the biggest beneficiaries? Go and check. The next thing is that fairness is also that people are hungry, my brother. That beyond free senior high school is the reality of the fact that food is expensive. That for the first time under your watch, Ghanaians experience food inflation of a kind never seen before. I know a family that was in the Upper East region, for example. They couldn't even buy maize because they are now these unscrupulous people who are going there with off-taker arrangements and buying whatever grains are available for storage and to other countries. This is a fact. You can cross-check. And we have a president in Ghana and for 8 years. My sister Fatima, you are a young woman like me. You are a woman from the north. You know what hunger is in our areas. In the Upper East, you lost all the seats except one. Why do you think that happened? Because people are hungry. So you constructed hospitals. You've listed them. I have an even taller list of the number of hospitals. Most of the ones you mentioned were hospitals, something you know, left behind by the previous administration. Let me finish. Thank you. So let me finish. So you know that there is no precedent, and I'm speaking still to fairness, Samson, who would come into office and not attempt to build a hospital and not attempt to improve our health infrastructure. When did you ever hear President Akufo-Addo, in his whole 8 years, give any fair comment about any of his predecessors? Not once. Secondly, let's speak about health. Health is wealth. The National Health Insurance, go there and see the numbers of employees, all feeding fat, taxpayer money. The persons who are supposed to benefit from National Health Insurance, Samson, are mostly from the poorest parts of Ghana. You heard the Afrobarometer report that Ghanaians have gotten multi-dimensionally poorer over the last 8 years, right up to the Western region. Nobody was actually, spared, all of us. The next thing we want to speak to is that talking about health, we were in Wenchi, where there was a hospital that was the only one serving them, where President Akufo-Addo told them at a deadline, you, Mayaja, you were there, that because they didn't vote for his parliamentary candidates, that is why development has not come there. The next thing is what happened in the Volta region regarding an E-block, where a chief was told openly, brazenly, by a president of Ghana that you did not vote well, so you will not get development. So when it comes to hunger too, the same way that people were hungry and yet we refused to give them food is why they voted en masse against you. Then talking about hospital, there's one in Salaga, in my own community. Beautiful hospital facility is still sitting there. And lively, you didn't mention it in your list. And then you come all the way to Upper West region. It took a protest before that facility was opened. President Akufo-Addo never expressed fairness to anybody or even expressed any respect for any other person. You see, it is why I believe that God works in the affairs of men. And beyond the lies we tell, beyond the propaganda, beyond all the pretense of a platform like Parliament where you can say anything and maybe even get away with it, is the fact that Ghanaians went to a referendum on December 07 and scored the MPP F by voting them out, both their candidates, president and vice, and of course the PCs, for good reason. Never lose sight of that. The third thing I want to speak about is that what? You left behind 8 billion. The public debt today stands at close to 800 billion, Samson. We have the debts of the DDEPs that are yet to be paid. We have the public debts, the international debts that have been postponed to 2026, for example, and 2028, that are yet to be fulfilled. In 2016, when Mr. Mahama was leaving, similarly, funny enough, the figures even rhyme. There was 6.2 billion in the kitty, plus 10 and Sankofa oil wells. Indeed, where are those investors today? ENI, ExxonMobil. Recently, there's another award against the government of Ghana for abrogating these very important contracts. Mr. Mahama has a way that he puts it, and that by now, we should be pumping oil like no man's business. But because of family feuds and clanism, all these investors have left. Why are we not depending on gas, Samson, more than crude oil? It is always about procurement for this administration, and it is a procurement sense that has led them to this failure that they are experiencing today. But you see, even in the face of failure, they refuse to admit, even for a second, that let's take responsibility at least for the fact that we failed to deliver on a better economy for the good people of Ghana, that we failed to deliver on Agenda 111. Go back to the tapes of when the subject matter was introduced. You see, the issue is not about what we're trying to do or not trying to do. Samson, there can be no president under the Fourth Republic who didn't focus on infrastructure, be it in education, be it in health, be it in roads, name it, than Mr. John Mahama. And you can check, even Google will tell you that this is a president who tried to close the infrastructure deficit. But he got no credit and got no fairness from his successor. I think the biggest time that Mr. Akufo-Addo has ever even acknowledged John Mahama in any positive light was in his last paragraph yesterday, where he actually expressed congratulations to him for a resounding victory in the election. We have humbled him and taught him a lesson that mediocrity will not be tolerated. And Dr. Adomako, I agree with you. You know me very well. I have told Mr. Mahama, we must sit up. We must do better. We must offer Ghanaians what it is they are asking for. Figures don't put food on the table. Statistics are to guide us so we can introduce policies to feed and improve our lives. If planting for food and jobs took 2.8 billion, and yet people were suffering food inflation, then something is wrong with the policy. Something is wrong with the data. Something is wrong with the implementation. And somebody must be checking. That is what we expect. And then you come down to talk about monies and what you left. Really? Where are the better managers of the economy? The dollar is at 17 cities and climbing. Thank God we have a new government in place. So at least the last few weeks, there's been some consistency because naturally, you are not wasting our money anymore. That's all that it is. You know, look, the reality on the ground is that President Akufo-Addo came in with enormous promise, in all humility.
A lot of it.
He rode on the backs of many people, businesses, industries, giant of industry. And I have traveled closely with Mr. Mahama the length and breadth of the world. In every meeting I have sat with ambassadors, high commissioners, name it. Everybody is disappointed in this administration of President Akufo-Addo and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. People expected better. So if you've squandered our expectations, try not to cheat our intelligence. Because I think that today, this last submission of yours is attempting to cheat the intelligence of the good people of Ghana. So you built a hospital. You put nothing in it. You didn't even make it functional. What were you expecting the people to do? To acknowledge the fact that the structure is there and there's nothing in it? You gave me free SHS, but you made sure that the dollar and cedis cannot be managed even in a consistent way. Look at unemployment at 14.7%.
Right.
Look, this campaign that we went into, I went into it with enormous faith and belief. You know me very well. I believed in everything we did and in everything we said. And I tell you every day that as a spokesperson, I've never been sued by anybody because I don't believe in falsehoods. Let's look at the ascertainer of Ghanaians. So don't talk about numbers.
Now,
the numbers don't jive.
As Fatima